Hi guys, I'm going to go through number 2 now on that 10.1 practice test, and I'm going to do it pretty quick, so make sure that you pause where you need help. If you need to listen to something again, this is not meant to be as an instruction for you guys. It's meant to just quick review how do we do this. We covered this on 10.1C on Thursday of last week. Okay, so I'm going to go right to, we're talking about a study about the effectiveness of a cardio pump versus CPR, and I'm going to go right to where we get to our numbers. So I've read through this already. I don't find the need to reread it to you guys. You can do that on your own. When you go, it says in total 754 patients were treated with a cardio pump. So I'm going to, I need to recalibrate. Forgive me, it's going to waste a little time. Oh, dear. Okay, there we go. So we have 754. This is going to be my X, or my N1, excuse me. Why is it my N1? That's how many people were sampled in the first group, and 37 of them survived at least 1 year. So that's my X1. Okay, and then we have 746. This is my N2, and 15 is my X1. Okay, moving on. It states perform a statistical test to determine whether the survival rates for patients treated with a cardio pump is significantly higher. We can use this. This is basically our HA. This is what we're trying to prove. And we can use this sentence for evidence for this or evidence against this. So we either are going to have evidence that the survival rate for patients treated with a cardio pump is significantly higher than the survival rate for patients treated with CPR, or we will have no evidence for that. Okay, let's get right to the states. So in the states, P1 is the true proportion of people like the patients who are treated with a cardio pump and survive at least 1 year. It does not specifically say that these are volunteers, but remember, I did state this in class today, when we're doing an experiment, we are assuming that they are volunteers. P2 then would be the true proportion of people like the patients who are treated with CPR and survived at least 1 year. Okay, we have our two populations here. We want to know, is the cardio pump better than the CPR in essence? Okay, how do I state that now with hypotheses? HO, P1 is equal to P2. We always assume that our null hypothesis, that there's no difference between the two, and the question asks us, is the cardio pump one better? And that's why I have greater than P2. Moving on, the plan. Okay, now we're dealing with an experiment. If it was not an experiment, we would have to state that both samples are random, and it will state that somewhere in the question. Stated that both samples are random, or a simple random sample of both samples. Since it's an experiment, we don't see a random sample, and so what we have to say is we have to say that the treatments are given randomly. Okay, next, independence. Now, with the I, if it's not an experiment, you do your 10N is less than capital N. 10N is less than capital N. And then that the groups are independent of each other. This you only do when you have a random samples. We don't have a random sample because we have an experiment. That's what we talked about on Friday. The two things, and our interval was the same way, the previous video I made. Independence, because the treatments are given randomly, the groups are independent of each other. Number two, individual responses are also independent of each other. Okay, so this happens only in with experiments. We're volunteers in a study. Anything where treatments are given randomly. Okay, next is our normal condition. This one does not change. We're going to take our N times our P has to be greater than or equal to 10 for both populations. Now they don't give us a P, they only give us P hat. So we take our first one. If you scroll up, it's going to be 15 out of 754. So that's my N, 754, times 15 over 754 is greater than or equal to 10. And we have to do it again with the 1 minus 754 times 1 minus 15 over 754 is greater than or equal to 10. And then I do it again over here with my other population. And the sample from that population is where? Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. This is X2, and now you're probably confused. Let me slow down. When I was going too fast, I said this was X1 and it's X2. All that changes for us is we have to just do a little erasing. I'm really doing awesome here, sorry. Okay, so erase this and erase this. What did I do wrong? I accidentally labeled 2X1. So let's circle it again in purple. Here is my X1. They're the ones who survived with the cardio pump out of 754 still. So we are okay. And that's my P now. I know I need to slow down. Okay, next we're going to look at N2. N2 is 746 and X2 is 15 right here. Okay, so 15 out of 746. 15 out of 746. There's my P hat. So NP is greater than or equal to 10, and 746 times 1 minus 15 over 746 is greater than or equal to 10. Perfect. We are ready to proceed. What are we going to proceed with? We're going to proceed with our method. And our method is a 2-sample z-test for P1 minus P2. All right, next, I'm going to do the do parts. 0 always goes in the center. Okay? The standard deviation, this is where you need the pool. Okay, how am I going to get that P-pool? We pool the number of survivors together. Okay, so we have X1 plus X2 over N1 plus N2. All of the people in this study. So I'm going to take now 37 out of 754 plus 15. I believe it is it 13? I can't read my writing. Yeah, it's 15. Plus 15 over 746. So that's going to give me 37 plus 15 is 52 total survivors over 754 plus 746, which is 1,500. Why did I do that? I pulled it together only during the significance test. Now you're going to go to your formula sheet and you're going to make sure you can see when P1 equals P2, that's from our null hypothesis. What standard deviation do we need? And it looks like this with the values plugged in. 52 out of 1,500 times 1 minus 52 over 1,500. All times 1 over N1 plus 1 over N2. Here is my standard deviation for the distribution. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you do not need to plug that in your calculator. Don't. It's going to take too much time, and there's too many places you can make mistakes. Just leave it as is. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right to my calculator. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the graphing calculator here for us. TI, oops, I'm going to go to search. And I'm going to go to stat, and I'm going to arrow over to test, and I'm going to go to 2 proportion z-test. Again, not the 2-sample, don't come to me tomorrow. 2 proportion z-test, I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to write down my x1, which is 37, out of 754. That's my n1. And then my x2, which is 15. Out of 746. I'm going to hit enter because I'm already at greater than, so I'm okay. Oops. calculate. And now I'm going to pull this screen over so we can see it better with all our other stuff. Okay, so what do I need from that? Let's talk about it. We have our mean, we have our standard deviation with our p-pool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mark the difference between p hat of 1 and p hat of 2. And you can see that in our calculator right there, and that's approximately, let's see, 0.029, okay? So I'm going to mark p hat of 1 minus p hat of 2 is approximately 0.029. And I'm going to shade to the right. And now I need to find my z-score. Well, they give us a z-score, which is nice. But I need to actually show my observation, which is 0.029, minus my mean, which is 0, divided by my standard deviation. Don't go and like rewrite this all down. Just put sigma. Okay, you already have it filled out. And my calculator gives it to us at 3.06 with a p-value equal to 0.001. And now I'm ready to conclude. Because our p-value is approximately 0.001, which is less than alpha of 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. Now what I'm going to do to help me with that alternative is go to what the question's asking. Again, the question is the survival rate for patients treated with a cardio pump significantly higher? And we just found evidence for that, so I'm just going to rewrite that. And you can see I did that right here. We have evidence that the survival rate for patients like these treated with a cardio pump is significantly higher than the survival rate for patients like these with CPR. And we are done. I talked pretty fast. It still took me 12 minutes. If you are still questioning things, I'm going to go through one in the homework a little bit slower, so look for that video to come.